Hello and welcome to Pure Entertainment TV. You're here with me, Venetia, and the wonderful Cristian MJC. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. So, quick fire round. Favourite song of this year?
Favourite song of this year? What's it called, that song with Years and Years? Yeah, what's that called? What's that song?
Years and Years. King? King, so...
But also the Game's new album. That's just like on fire, the whole thing.
On fire, sweet. Ready? Celebrity crush, go.
Celebrity crush, Jasmine Leonard.
Fabulous. Okay. One thing you couldn't live without.
One thing I couldn't live without, I'd probably say Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, my phone.
Social media. I thought I was going to say something really romantic like his missus, but sorry, missus, it's social media. Sorry, you're second best, bless you.
This space. I just made 3K, don't diss no race, never watch no face. Tell them watch this space. Tell them watch this space. I just made 3K, don't diss no race, never watch no face.
Do you two apply to a show like that?
I've got a friend which was on it, and also a mate of mine actually applied for it a few years ago. I don't actually watch the show. I don't watch TV.
I think you'd want... I just assumed you'd watched it.
My advice to anybody that is planning on going the show, make sure you watch it, because it's not what I expected. I didn't realise how intense it was. I knew the show. Thing is, I'd watched it before in the sense that, you know, I'd logged on like TV or whatever and stuck it on, and I know it's about people living together in a house, and I've watched like The Odd Task, and obviously it's about putting tasks together. But in terms of if you watch a full series, obviously watching my series back was kind of the first series which I religiously watched. It kind of made me realize, like, oh god, it is a proper social experiment, and it's not just, you know, a game show. It's just a bit of fun. It's a social experiment, and it's so straining on your mind, so mentally, definitely. So yeah, what was the question? Because
that's fine. We can move on to the next question. But do you have any regrets by going on the show, or would you have done anything differently on the show?
Honestly, I would have watched the show. I would definitely have understood the show a lot more, in terms of, I recognise that Big Brother is an entertainment show, and what they want is they want conflict. If you get conflict, you get airtime. If you don't get airtime, you're branded as boring. So I'm not the kind of guy necessarily in the real world anyway. If two people have got a problem, I'm not going to get involved in their shit and just start arguing with them. Why am I going to do that? Like, what's the purpose in that? You're going to let two people argue? Let them argue. Let them sort out their differences. Big Brother's like a case of, you want two people to be arguing, you want the next person to get involved, this person to get involved. It's like, I'm not bothered about that. I'm not about that. Like, talk to me when you're chilled out.
True Entertainment TV first. He's not about that life.
I'm not about that life. But, yeah. So I would, like I say, knowing that it is about getting involved a lot more and voicing your opinion. If you disagree with someone, you've got to, you know, you've got to make a scene of it. In the real world, if I've got a problem with you or you, do you know what I mean? I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. Like, you just cut them off. That's what normal people do, you know? So in that process, obviously, you need to get involved, and that's how you get airtime. And if you don't get airtime, you're branded as boring or whatever. And obviously on that show, that's how they portray you. But also they do have their characters, which they envision when they cast you for that. It makes sense watching it back, the idea of each candidate that they had in their mind. This person is going to be this person is that, this person is that. And I don't think I kind of matched how they envisioned me, because I think they thought I'd be I think people get me wrong a lot of the time, and people often think like I'm an arrogant prick or just like that cocky guy or whatever. Like, that's far from me. I mean, if you watch that show, you'd know that I'm just like chilled. I'm humble, you know. I'm not like how they expected me in the way that, you know, my VT was filmed. It was a bit like, watching it back was a bit, that's not me. Yeah, it was a little bit cringe for me, because it's not necessarily, you know, how I am, and doesn't really display the person that I am, really. So yeah.
Tell them watch this space. We just endeavor to get the money right. Young boy, no midge, you do nothing for me. Fake friends, nice, funny, you been looking for me. I ain't cool with that, don't give me that. He say that, she say that, I been slinging away.
So you've been doing music for a while now. What age did you start at? Who inspired you, or what inspired you?
So I started out when I was probably started taking it seriously at about 17. I started really wanting to make music properly and started getting like my finger out a bit. Like when I was about 15, I started writing music and started recording a few bits. I still remember on GarageBand, on my first MacBook. So I put together like a song called Pretty Girl. And it was very like pop inspired because I used to listen to a lot of like Chipmunk, because I rate Chipmunk really highly. I think he's sick. So it kind of had that vibe of like Oopsie Daisy, and it was kind of around that time. And I just kind of liked the whole kind of pop vibe of it, like pop commercial, and it just worked. And I really like that kind of stuff. So I put together a song. I wrote a song. You know, I wrote the chorus, sang the chorus, did the verses about like a pretty girl. Yeah, proper like. Yeah, cheesy, a little bit cheesy, but you know what? It got a lot of good reception from at the time because I put it on YouTube, and it was quite a big deal in YouTube those days. You know, when you post covers and people were kind of like listening to covers online. So I got like 5,000 views in the first week I put it up, and I was just like shocked because loads of people were suddenly following me on Twitter and stuff like that. So I was getting like a lot of requests for people asking for more stuff, and at that point I kind of started taking it more seriously, in the respect that I took the writing side of it more seriously rather than just thinking a bit poppy, and saw it as just a way of putting like thoughts down onto paper if you've got like things you want to talk about, and it's a great way of like expressing yourself. And I just love the creativity aspect of it, you know, being able to create something from nothing, and then when you see what you create at the end of it and listening back to it, it's kind of a good feeling, you know, knowing that you've just done something like productive, and it's always something that you can look back at, you know. So
I'll never touch, yeah, sit back, grab a zip, then roll up a J. Every day's green day. Take a seat in the back of the car. I just look up and I see all these stars. Pull me a glass, then we pull out the ace. Go balls, yeah, you know the taste when you in a space, boy. Tell them watch this space.
You released Watch This Space with Link Up TV. I mean, what else can we expect from you? New singles, mixtapes, collabs, anything?
So Watch This Space, that was more of a just like a freestyle video. That's something I did with Scotty B, who's obviously very talented producer, and sorry bro, that's the chicken from before. Yeah, so he's obviously a very talented DJ, and he came out with this sick beat, and I was just like, damn, I want to do something on this. And my case was, I'd put out all these commercial songs, which I had recorded, like, I don't know if you know, but like Rock Bottom, I recorded that when I was 15, 16. Take It Back, Born a Star, I recorded around the same time. I was 17, I'm 20 now. They were released recently. So when I watch those back, it doesn't, for me, it's quite frustrating because, you know, people like, some people are like, yeah, it's cool, you got like, it's a sick song or whatever. And I mean, it is a great produced song, it's a good written song, it's a good track, but for me, it doesn't like do me justice. And looking at it back, I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm 20 now, and that's not representing me in terms of what I can do, in terms of what I am capable of. So Watch This Space for me was just more of, look, if you want me to rap about this materialistic stuff that everyone wants to ride on and just talk about what everyone else is talking about, and you want me to do that, I will do that. And I did it, and it was cool. Like, that was just a case of me just kind of getting some shit off my chest. It just basically saying that if you want me to rap like that, I will rap like that. I can rap like that. But that's not necessarily what I'm about as an artist. It's not really who I am. I am, you know, more of, my genre would be what I would class as, you know, commercial rap, UK pop kind of stuff, you know. I just make music which I like to hear that sounds good, you know, and I like the whole package to sound good. So a nice, you know, chorus or whatever, good writer on it. A lot of what Tiny Temper's doing, that's why I rate what Tiny Temper's doing, because he's consistently putting out great products. And that's, you know, that's inspirational, because I was in LA the other week with Jasmine, and, you know, I met like JC from NSYNC, you know, got in contact with him, because Jazz is like best friends with him, and he was saying like out of all the people that I were mentioning, because we were discussing stuff, and he said, yeah, he knows of Tiny Temper, like all the others he didn't know of, but Tiny Temper, people are aware of him, you know, so that's quite inspirational. If you know you've got a guy from UK that's exactly, and he's come up all the way through hard work, and he's doing what I envision myself doing one day, you know, which is consistently putting out great songs, and that's what I want to do, and I want to surround myself with the right musicians, right producers, songwriters, and whatever.
So what do you hope to achieve in the next year? What's your targets and your aims?
So in the next year is, the target right now is getting this EP together. So this is going to be full of up-to-date songs. I don't think it's going to include Watch the Space, because that is a freestyle. That's like a rap song. That's not really me as such. So this EP is going to contain like more of a bit of a what's that word? I'm looking for one word that's my niche, sort of like more my sound.
Yeah.
But songs similar to a remix I did online. One's called Hotel Remix. I did a remix to the Chris Brown and Kid Ink song, along that kind of vibe. So I'm working with Rhymes at the minute, who produce Wiley Heatwave, Wizzy Wow, who produce, you know, like Tayo Cruz and Kesha, Dirty Picture. These are like two producers which are in on the EP, so it's sounding sick at the minute. It is sounding really good, but this EP is gonna be more up to date, and it's gonna show people what I'm kind of doing it now, not what I was doing 4 years ago when I was 16. You know, putting out stuff like Take It Back and Born a Star. That's not me, and that's not what I say when someone asks what I do. I don't pick up the phone and say, oh yeah, check this out then, check out Born a Star, because that's not me. So it's like, for me, it's like, you know, David knows, my manager, he knows that it's a case of I just want to get it out, because I want to update people as to what I'm getting up to nowadays. So primary focus is obviously getting this EP together. Once that's together, then we can kind of fit things into place. So in terms of the tour, because a lot of people have been asking for a tour, I love being on stage. Like, that's my passion as well, because I don't know what it is, but there's something about when you're up on a stage, you get some sort of adrenaline rush.
It's like pure music, isn't it? Music at its rawest.
Of course, yeah, because you're doing what the whole concept of making music is about. It's the entertainment factor, but you are actually entertaining. You know, you're actually doing the part which people want to see, because when I listen to music, you know, the best thing you can do is actually see that person live, because it really makes you think, shit, this is authentic, you know, because it's all well and true, you know, hearing it from a studio or whatever, but then being able to watch that person live, and especially performing it live, and then seeing people being responsive to it and receptive, and then they're singing along with your songs. It's like people you've never met before, and they're singing your song and they know it, and it's just like, Jesus, come a long way. But yeah, it's a crazy thing, and being on stage is definitely one of my favorite places. Like, I love doing that, and that is something which, you know, we will be working at this year as well. Not just that, we're going to be putting together a calendar. So there's going to be a calendar, and also working on more merchandise, because a few people have been like wanting t-shirts and stuff, and like posters and whatever. So all that stuff's going to be available on my website. But in terms of anything new that happens, everything's always updated on my Twitter. I'm active on my Twitter, active on my Instagram, and all my social media. It's so easy to find out what I'm getting up to, because I'm always updating.
She's going to say, so people who are watching this thinking, heck, I want to check you out, where can they go and find you?
So you can check me out on all my social networks, which are at Cristian MJC without the H, so Cristian MJC. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, updating that daily. Just every social media possible. Facebook, my website, of course, YouTube, and all those, you know, things. And then all digital music sites, you can also find my music. So whether it's, you know, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. What's that other one? Rhapsody.
Anything you can think of, basically.
Yeah, just all those stuff.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much today. Cristian MJC, thank you. You're here with me, Venetia, on True Entertainment TV.